I can't believe that Dark Shadows is coming upon its 40th anniversary. I mean, that is completely beyond my ability to understand. I think it's wonderful, and I should say that I think in some way I do understand it. Never when we were filming the show did we ever imagine, we just never, could imagine that, 40 years later the show would still have a life, and quite a wonderful life. And I think one of the reasons, Jim, that the show has hung on and it has created such a special niche within people, young and old. You'll see, you'll see people bringing their grandkids, to watch. They're watching the show now. Is it somehow, and I've mentioned this before, I believe, but Dark Shadows was very successful at creating its own world, and that world was not reliant upon any. It didn't rely upon any, particularly newfangled kinds of things. We didn't have computers. We didn't have automobiles or any of that kind of thing. We were just very successful, the show was, at creating this world in which we could all escape to. I mean, actors and audience alike. And somewhere along during the history of that show is that I believe actors and audience alike formed a kind of relationship that was very special. And this relationship was theirs. And it sort of took them out of maybe whatever day-to-day things that we all have to deal with. It allowed us to escape into this other world. And I think there was a true bond between the company of actors, actresses, and the audience. And it was this bond together, this relationship, that somehow allowed us to be a little positive about life. We looked forward to the next day's, adventure within the story. So that's basically, that was my take on it, that somehow, Dark Shadows was very successful in creating a very special bond between the company of actors, between Dark Shadows and its audience. And such a special bond that it is held in there today. I've had the occasion to go to a few of the quote-unquote conventions that they've had, where the Dark Shadows conventions, where all of the fans will gather to sort of celebrate in their, celebrate the joy that the show was able to bring to them, and how it was successful in uniting all of these people. And it gives the actors a chance. It's sort of like an annual reunion, but it gives a chance for the actors to say hello and to spend some time with each other, because we were all so very, we worked so intensely during those years together. So that is very good. But the special thing, I've been seeing some of these same fans for years, even since the show was on. And I just, it's always a smile. Not only at the convention, wherever I've gone around the country, if I walk down the street somewhere in some town, someone is going to holler, "Quentin." I was on the set of, we're shooting a new film here the other day, on Saturday, and a lady came up to me and just was, boiling. It had such wonderful feelings about the show. And, you know, when you go to the conventions, you know, they dress up as the characters. They have a grand time. I think it's a very joyous kind of occasion. And that a show can do that, you can't ask for any more. That a show can touch you and touch the human condition and make the human condition a little joyful, a little more joyful, just for a brief period of time. It's something to be treasured.